Hi, today I will bring you along when I make my summer mead. I will start my batch with strawberry mead, and it will take a couple of videos for you to come along the whole process until it's bottled and ready to enjoy. So, mead. What is mead? Mead is basically wine made of honey instead of grapes. And it's probably most known around here as the alcohol that was used by the Vikings. And many people think it's like a beer, but it's not. It's you can make it in such a variety that it can also almost be like um, a sparkling white wine, all the way to a sweet honey alcohol beverage that well, I think the last one there I describe is probably what most people have met and came in contact with on a medieval uh, theme day or something like that. So, mead or honey wine is the oldest alcohol beverage in the whole wide world. It outdates wine made of grapes by thousands of years. And here in Scandinavia, we didn't have the possibility to to uh, to use grapes because of the cold weather. So we had to rely on honey. And honey as a product is way more expensive than grapes. So it's a much more exclusive drink to make. It's probably the most expensive wine you can make. And I have refined over a few years now how I make mead. And I will bring you along on the process. Uh, and I think you will find it interesting. And for myself, it's the best wine there is, actually. And I will use a special kind of yeast that's that you're supposed to use for mead, and it's Mangrove Jack's Mead Yeast MO5, which is this one. I also have a yeast nutrition Fermade O, it's called, and well, the basic foundation in mead is honey, water, and yeast. So that's my goal today. I will set the batch of the mead uh, in its foundation, and I need to boil water, a lot of it. I need to boil about 20 liters, and I will add 7 kilos of honey, and I will also add the yeast. And within a couple of days, it will start bubble, and the yeast process is alive and kicking. I will add the raw juice of strawberries in the batch. And then I will let it sit and really transform the sugar in the honey to alcohol. And I estimate it to be somewhere between 12 and 14 in alcohol volume. And I estimate it to be a total of about 25 liters. And when it's done, I will carbonize it. I will carbonize it by pressure in bottles, and then I will have it in 33 centiliter bottles with a cap on it, so it will be enjoyed like a beer or a cider instead of regular wine. It will though contain the same alcohol volume just as wine, so you got to be careful with it. It can be really 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 effective. So the oldest traces of mead or honey wine is located in Asia. I think in China, and the traces are 7,000 years back in history. They also found traces of honey wine in Old Egypt. So it's really the nectar of the gods, or well, the beverage that wasn't for anyone. It was a really exclusive drink. So anyway, now I will start the boring process by doing the cleaning part. I will have to sanitize the big plastic thing there where I will have it all, and I will also make sure that I boil the water in case of bacteria. And when it drops below 70 degrees Celsius, I will then be able to add the honey without destroying the nutritions in the honey. And then after that, I will have to wait a few hours for the temperature to go below 37, 35 degrees, something like that, before I add the yeast, so I don't kill the yeast culture. So that's basically what I will do today. So come along. Okay, I got to start pouring water in this one, and this will take the longest of time to really boil this water. I think I can add 9 liters at a time. So I started making mead as an experiment, since I'm about to take over the family farm after my parents. I have this dream of making it a mead garden, like a mead yard. Instead of wine yard, I will make mead. Instead of grapes, I will show people my beehives. So now it's all about waiting for the water to start boil, and it will take quite some time. In the meanwhile, I will have to start the sanitizing process with a plastic jar. These have been, even though I sanitized it after finishing the old batch, it's always smart to sanitize it before usage, because the yeast is really really sensitive, and bacteria can cause, well, first of all, it can kill the yeast culture, but it can also put flavors in your mead batch that you don't want. So to keep it sanitized is really good. Well, it's really important. And this is the boring part of the whole thing. You have to sanitize every step, and it takes forever, it seems. But it will be worth it all in the end. And this isn't the worst part. The worst part is when you will put it into bottles, and let's say you have like 75 or 100 bottles to sanitize first, that takes quite some time. But once again, it's worth the process. I usually make this mead so it's ready for midsummer, which is basically when you really want to enjoy your mead. But this year I was late, so it won't be done to midsummer. It will be done to a bit longer into the summertime there. But that's okay. I will host a big Kung Fu event in August, and I have guests from UK and France and China that I will offer this strawberry mead. It's a really nice drink to have to a barbecue or when it's really warm outside. It's really nice. You can also make really good, nice drinks to it if you add like a lemon soda or something. It's a really good drink, refreshing drink, and with some ice and a twist of lemon or a lime, then it's really nice. Easy to drink. Okay, now it's time to pour the first water into it. And you gotta be a bit careful so you don't burn yourself. Seven liters. A bunch of more of these then. Okay, so now the water has reached a temperature of below 70 degrees Celsius, and now it's time to add the honey in the batch. So 7 kilos. This is the messy part, but it's crucial. This is what makes it alcohol. So that's one. And we have a bunch here. This was a bit hardened. And you really want to get everything, because this is the expensive part of making mead. I usually get honey from local beekeepers, and that's always best, because that's the quality you really aim for. You want local honey. That's the best nutrition in that, and also the highest sugar per 100 grams. This is 79 grams sugar per 100 grams of honey, which isn't the best quality you can get, but then again, it's cheaper, and it's way better than bad honey. If you're not careful, you will get honey that they have blended with sugar, added sugar in it, and that really mess up the quality. And when making mead, the holy rule is to only use honey. No sugar, no refined sugar sugar at all in any kind. You only use honey. So this is a bit messy. Oh, I gotta clean my hands in between here. Otherwise I will mess it up. I think I will open more than one at a time here, so I don't have to go forward and so I don't have to go wash my hands every time. So like this, and we add this too. So the amount of honey will determine how strong it will be. I made a calculation I will share with you eventually in a short while here. I will just add this and stir it around a bit so it will melt in the warm water. So this is 7 kilos. I might add a couple of these when the yeast process is done and it's still and it doesn't bubble anymore, depending on the strength. Like that. Now I will just clean my hands. Like that. And now I will give it a stir here so it will be blended in the water, and the typical color for mead is appearing here. It's really nice. But when I add the strawberry raw juice, it will become red. And now it's way too warm to add the yeast culture, so I will wait till tomorrow morning before I go to work. I will add a couple of bags of this Mangrove Jack's mead yeast. Well, one and a half bag, I think. Not too much. So now it's 25 liters, like that. And to prevent the cat from doing some funny stuff, I put this on, and it will stay quite warm over the night. And back in the Viking era, they used big wooden tubs in the forest, and the mead maker had like a magic stick, and that stick was basically a wooden stick that carried the yeast culture from batch to batch, but they didn't know that back then. They didn't understand the chemical process of it. So and it was an open tub, so insects died and fell into the batch, and they gave the mead, the yeast, a natural source of nutrition. And then eventually it sank down to the bottom and they can drink it. But for myself, I use another source of yeast nutrition. So this is the first step. Tomorrow morning I add the yeast, and I will probably not film that because it will be morning. And after that, I think I will show you the next step when I make the raw juice of strawberries. So that's it. This is the step one. Okay, so now it's time to make the raw juice of the strawberries. I have 5 kilos of frozen strawberries here that I will boil, and then I will mush them and mix, and then I will pour it into this filter, and it will sink down in this pot. And eventually I think I will have about 3 liters of raw juice of this. And the Mead batch is happening. It's bubbling in the plastic pipe there. I'm not sure what it's called in English, but basically it allows the air, the pressure from the yeast process to go through the water lock to prevent bacteria and bad stuff coming in there. So anyway, it's bubbling. It's bubbling. So okay, I will start. I will start the process to boil it. Okay, so I have added some water here, so it won't get burned in the bottom of the pot, and I will take half of the berries now, and I will make another batch of this with just as much. So I start with 2.5 kilos. And this will boil, and I will mix it eventually before I pour it down in that filter. So, oh, right, I wasn't supposed to take everything there, but never mind. Okay, let's start the gas here, and I need the magic stick, the magic Mead stick. Here it is. Okay, so this will take quite some time, so I won't shoot a video of everything, but I will shoot video of the next step, which will be pouring it down in the filter. Okay, see you shortly. Okay, okay. Now I have boiled the berries. I have mushed them with a mixer, and now I will pour it into this filter. So now I better be a little careful here, since it's really hot. Like that. And it will go through this. And now it's all about waiting again. Okay, so as you can see, I have a complete new set of clothes. I went to the gym and worked out there a bit while waiting for the strawberry raw juice to kind of go through the filter, and now it's ready. Now it's ready. I have 3.5 liters. I added a little more honey just to help the yeast a bit. And okay, so now it will change color. So I put this over here so I don't put a lot of bacteria in it. Okay, here we go. Uh-oh. 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 All right, I just produced my first blooper. I did not use my head, and I kind of just a short while there forgot the reaction when pouring in the juice from the berries in the batch, and as you see, it became quite a disaster here. But now I have cleaned up the mess, and I lost a few liters, but that's fine. That's the learning curve for this season. So anyway, now the strawberry juice is in the batch, and it have changed the color to red instead of yellow. So all we can do now is let it sit for about 3-4 weeks, and then we will put it in another container to get rid of a lot of I don't know what you call it, particles from the berries and from the yeast. So you when you pour it over to another jar container, it will be a little more clearer, and then you do that a couple of times, and eventually it will stop bubbling. And when that happens, I will add probably more honey, and then let it go another fermentation process. And when that's done, it's time for putting in the things that will make it clear. It will. I thought it would say something in English on this bag here that would make it easier for me to explain, but it basically it makes it crystal clear. You put this in, and that will happen. All right, so now that's that. So the process continues. Thank you for today.